Hi everyone, Paul here, and this is the video for day 2 of the 2018 Cheltenham Festival. Fingers crossed we've had a good day 1 and we're reinvesting profits for day 2. Day 2 starts at the 1:30, which is the Baliymore Novices Grade 1 hurdle over 2 mile 5. And it's weird, it's one of the races I'm looking forward to most, though realistically on paper there's probably only about 4 horses with known form in with a chance. You've got to start with Sam Crow for Gordon Elliott. It's been a talking horse from before he even stood on the track, hence the reason I think he's been odds on every single start. But the thing about this horse is he's won like an odds on horse should every single start. He's unbeaten over 2 miles to 2.5 miles on good ground, on heavy ground. It's always tough backing odds on at the festival. When you saw with Death Duty last year, it doesn't always come off. But for me, Sam Crow really does look like the real deal, and it'll take a good one to beat him. But there is a good one in here, and that is Next Destination for Willie Mullins. 4th in last year's champion bumper, been an unbeaten hurdler since. The softer ground is probably better than what he got in the bumper last year. The only reason I'm not picking him is on official ratings, Sam Crow still has about £3 in hand of him. But, you know, Sam Crow doesn't run his race. Next Destination improves, it's going to be right there. At a bigger price, Black Op interests me for Tom George. Really consistent horse. Goes very well at the course. On my WhatsApp service, I actually tipped him up on his last run at 9-1. It was a 5-star each way bet, and he came there to lead at the last, made a mistake and got run out of it close home. But it was a cracking run. The softer the ground, the better. Again, there's absolutely no reason to not tip this one up, apart from the big two are 2 potential future Gold Cup horses. That's the only reason. Black Op in most years would have been right up there, probably about 3-1, but he's a very good horse. One to mention at a bigger price is also trained by Mullins, which is Duke de Genouer. 2 good placed efforts behind the big 2 in the market, and he is the type who's going to improve again with racing. But again, has he got enough to go and turn it round with those big 2? I'm not convinced. The rest of it would be one of the biggest upsets you'll ever see at a festival if someone else goes in. So they're the ones to focus on. So 1, 2, 3, Sam Crow from Next Destination and Black Op, which what could be, I think, one of the races of the festival. 2:10 is the RSA Chase. And the horse I'm going with here, I've actually been on this horse anti-post since about July, August. I'm trying to think when I read the stable tour from last year. It would have been August. And that is Presenting Percy. Previous festival winner over 3 mile last year, won really, really well. And the thing is with this horse is just how well he travels. And I think that's going to be key in this gluey ground. The soft ground is absolutely fine. And he's been winning graded races over both fences and hurdles today, which you've got to have this year, which is you've got to have that element of class to do that. The last run as well, bearing in mind he's a novice, he ran Our Duke, who was fully revitalised and back on form to a length. Now, our Duke since last year was up there towards favourite for the Gold Cup market. So based on that, if he's up there towards the head of the Gold Cup market, Presenting Percy should be a very good thing, I hope, for the RSA. He's got a big challenge for favourite, though, in the form of Monolly, who's a Grade 1 winning chaser in his own right. Stayed on really well over 2 mile 5 latest, which gives me every indication he will get the 3 miles today, even though he hasn't gone on a course like this. He would be an unbeaten chaser, probably, but for falling at Leopardstown at Christmas. And if you look at ratings, there's absolutely nothing between Presenting Percy and Monolly. The only reason I'm going with Percy is I've been on him for a long time, and I know he goes to the course. Monolly's never left Ireland. Elegant Escape, if you're looking for something at a big price, he could run well because for the Tizzards, he seems an out-and-out stayer. But the only worry I've got with him is he's gone to the course twice and not performed twice. Once I can forgive, twice I've started to have question marks on him. Album Photo for Willie Mullins would have won a Grade 2 at Christmas, I think at Limerick, but for falling. And he ran Monolly to 3/4 of a length latest. I think he will get the 3 mile trip as well. But Monolly obviously was returning after a fall there, so possibly wouldn't have been fully tuned up. So I'm expecting Monolly to still hold the form with Album Photo. You've got to mention Black Corton, because he's been on the go, this horse, for 12 months for Paul Nicholls. And fair play, Paul Nicholls has kept getting improvement after improvement after improvement out of him. And Bryony Frost is just getting on like a house on fire with him. Loves the course, loves soft ground, has had a relatively long break by his standards, and I think Black Corton has got a very, very big chance here. Again, if it was a below average RSA, I think he would have been favourite, but it's not, and because I think Present Percy and Monolly are two very, very good horses. Another one in here who I think has got improvement in him, and there was another decisive move, I think, and that is Danikos. He was close behind Monolly and Alboom Photo last time, but what gets me is look at the replay of this race. 3 out, I thought, oh, the front two are going to get miles away, and they did quicken on over 2 mile 5, but this one was gaining all the way to the line, and where the front two were really all out, this one was all out as well, but was just making up ground, and for this one, he is 100% guaranteed to appreciate the 3 mile trip. Interestingly enough, he was left in the 4 miler until yesterday. So that suggests they had every confidence he would get 4 mile. And I think Danikos, at a very decent price, he's around 8 to 1 at the moment. I think he's going to go very, very close here, with the hill also to his liking. It looks a very good renewal of the RSA. But my 1, 2, 3 here I'm going for is Presenting Percy from Danikos and Monolly. 250 is the race. I hate this race. It's the Coral Cup, but something's got to win it. Diamond King for Gordon Elliott won this 2 years ago, but he hasn't been in the same form since over hurdles or fences and has £9 more to carry. Top of the game's interesting because he's consistent and like soft ground. However, he is held at the weights by my pick for this race, which is William Henry for Nicky Henderson. You can put a line through his chase debut at the course. It was a disaster. He spun around and got wound up at the start. His saddle then slipped and it just all went wrong. Worthy went right. They then lobbed him back over hurdles, because I always think sometimes don't jump on the horse, you know, and send him back over fences after that, because you don't know the mental scars. Nicky Henderson knows what he's doing. They then went to Kempton and he travelled amazing, loved soft ground and powered away, and was then put away for this race, and I love that. He's had previous course wins or course form. He loves soft ground and everything seems to be in his favour. Max Dynamite is the favourite for Willie Mullins, and rightfully so, based on his Melbourne Cup form and what he's done on the flat as well, because he's potentially on an amazing mark, and he does go best fresh, but his best form is on good ground, and you know, he's never been in a hustle and bustle of a race like this for a long, long time, and I think he's plenty short enough, though I think he will definitely make the frame. River Frost is in this race again. He was down the field in this last year. He's now higher in the weights and hasn't looked all that straightforward this year. Labriel as well is on a great mark, and he has got all the potential in the world. But both runs this year, one of them I saw firsthand and backed him at Aintree when he was on the lead, cruised along, and just didn't seem to like the fight with it. And if you're going to win a Coral Cup, you are going to have to fight. So that kind of tempers my enthusiasm in him. One I am putting him a 1, 2, 3, and it's currently 40 to 1, 40 to 1, is a horse called Flemcara. Before his latest, when ran no sort of race, but I've just been reading now that he scoped badly, really badly in fact. He was very progressive on soft and heavy ground. So if he resumes his progress at the bottom of the weights, because he's got in off 10 stone 11, and the young lad Crowley's on it, Cowley claiming £5, he's effectively running off 10 stone 6. All he needs to do is find the same level of progression which he had, and it's going to put him bang there. And I can't believe he's 40 to 1, and he's not my tip, but I'm going to be having a small each way play on this one at the likely odds. I don't think he'll be 40 to 1 for much longer either, because someone else much wiser than me will no doubt find it. Always tricky. 1, 2, 3 though here. William Henry from Flemcara, Max Dynamite. 3:30 is the big race of day 2, which is the Queen Mother Champion Chase. Now, if you haven't seen it, there is huge question marks over Altior at this time. He didn't work right today, apparently, and returned with pus in his foot. This was about 6 hours ago. Nicky Henderson said along the lines of, well, people in his yard, he's got 6 hours to save his festival. They had vets working on him and everything. But assuming he's fine, because one thing I would say is they are not going to risk this horse of this quality on soft ground if they didn't have to, because he's got years ahead of him, because this horse is an unbeaten chaser. His return at Newbury was just unbelievable, beating Politolog, who had won the Halden, won over Christmas, the Tingle Creek, won everything, and it was like he was a class 4 chaser compared to what Altior did to him. It was amazing. The only upside is, and I've gone in again because you're getting 11 to 8 in places on Altior now, which I never thought would happen based on these stories. So I've gone in again there. Altior is the real deal, I think. Juvenile last year was massively odds on, a price I thought Altior might be this year, but hasn't been seen because he broke his pelvis, I think it was, in the race that year, and it would be a Herculean training performance to come back after 12 months into a queen mother with the likes of Altior, and the next horse I'm going to talk about, Min, in it, and win. It will be outstanding. Min missed the Arkle last season and the clash with Altior due to injury, but he's looked as good as ever this year, only losing his unbeaten record over fences in the steward's room, but looked even better last time. But the interesting thing here is Ruby has picked Juvenile, so that is quite interesting. Assuming everything's all right with Altior, I'm just going to go with the big three because you can't really recommend the rest. Altior 1, Juvenile 2, Min 3. Get me next page. 410 is the cross-country chase over 3 miles 6, and all the old stages are in here, have been in here over the years. Cause of Causes I like here for Gordon Elliott. Won last year, oozes class. He's got class all through him. He loves staying trips, loves the course. His better form's on good, but I'm hoping he's got the class to see it through. Josie's Orders actually won this 6 months after the race in the steward's room after any currency. Unfortunately, lost the race. And to be honest with you, this horse hasn't really been in that same nick of form since, but has been pretty good. He was beaten last time out by Bless the Wings and was getting £2 and off levels today. So I can't see Josie's Orders in that sense beating Bless the Wings necessarily, unless, you know, he's come on since then. Bless the Wings is another Elliott runner, multiple course distance wins. He's a banker, I think, to get placed, but he's 13 now, so it's a big ask to win. Tiger Roll is actually challenging for second favouritism here, and I can understand. He's a classy sort. He won the 4-miler at the festival last year, but he didn't seem to like the course last time. So unless he suddenly learns to like the course, I could not be going in on this, and he can do. I've seen horses do it. I can't be going in on this at 9 to 2 based on his run last time. Auvergnat was 4th in this last year, but has failed to complete the course a few times, and that would worry me. He has fallen, he has unseated, and that's interesting. You've got to mention the French horse here, Urgent de Frégain. He's 2 course runs, he's won and been placed, but those were handicaps, and this isn't a handicap. And you've got to mention as well the Last Samurai, because he's by far the classiest horse in the field at the moment, even more so the Cause of Causes. He loves soft ground, and he has every chance if he takes to the course, but I'm just going with the proven course form, which is the solid option of Cause of Causes. 1, 2, 3 here, Cause of Causes from the Last Samurai, Bless the Wings. The 450 is another handicap puzzle, which is the Fred Winter Juvenile Hurdle. Look My Way, it jumps out because it's a Northern Raider and he's in good form. But the last time he ran at the course, he came there cruising, jumped the last in the lead and blew up. I don't think he got up the hill. Now, he might have learned from the experience, but it's a big ask. Style de Garde is interesting for Nicky Henderson. He disappointed last time, but if he matches his debut form, he's got a chance. But I don't like going into it with someone who's run that badly last time out. Act of Valour for Paul Nicholls is interesting purely based on the yards record in this race. Paul Nicholls does produce them well. He will need to improve, and I think he's going to hit the frame, but I think there's a bit more class in the race than other years. Michuka coming over from Ireland, very interesting. 4 from 7. He's a Group 3 winner and he loves soft ground. Ireland's record in this is not great though, and that is the only reason I'm not tipping him up. And the horse I'm going for is the Dan Skelton trained Noob Negra. He was actually a really good second course and distance to Apple Shakira over the course and distance, and that form is reading very well because Apple Shakira is going to be very short, I think, for the Triumph on Friday. He was then an easier winner on soft ground and seemed to relish it, and it's the proven type of horse that you like to have in a Fred Winter. 1, 2, 3 here in a really competitive race. Noob Negra from Michuka and Act of Valour. That brings us on to the final race of day 1, or day 2 I should say, which is the Champion Bumper, and it really looks a tough Champion Bumper this year. Black Bow you've got to start with for Willie Mullins, purely based on his record in this race. He won Ireland's usual best trial for this, and he is unbeaten, and there's every reason to pick him up. That day he beat Rhinestone by a length and a half. But I think with Rhinestone, I think Rhinestone is going to go very close because I think given his hold-up style, the bigger field to come through is better. And the way he closed at the line, I think the hill will be better. I think he'll close, but I don't think it might not be good enough. But he's certainly got an honourable mention, Rhinestone. Felix Deje is very short, actually. It's 6-1 for Gordon Elliott. He's unbeaten, but the form that he's got so far is nowhere near the like of Blackbow or Rhinestone or any of them, really. So you've got to hope he's improved a lot. Tornado Flyer for Willie Mullins is interesting because he's a type to improve. He's only had one run and scrambled home, but I've seen it before with Willie Mullins. They will come on a lot for that first run. Another Mullins horse we've got to mention is Carefully Selected because this seems to be Ruby Walsh's pick. Now, Patrick Mullins, as a rule, gets the first pick. 4 Mullins ones in the bumper, but Walsh has gone very close on the likes of Battleford a couple of years ago and the like, so he knows what he's doing, Ruby Walsh. What I like with this horse is, though, he won a bumper over 2.5 mile on soft, so you can guarantee he's going to get up that hill and stay. He improved last coming down to 2 mile. One time he front run, one time he was held up, so he seems tactically versatile. And I think he's going to go pretty close. He's very evenly matched with Blackbow, but I think Blackbow is running a better standard race, so he just holds Carefully Selected. But I'm actually going for a British winner, a bit of a shock here. And the horse I really like here is AC Milan. He's a course and distance winner. They use a different course throughout the winter. Loves the soft ground. And the latest win in soft ground at Newbury was amazing the way he travelled and then pulled away. He's got an engine being by Milan, so you know he stays well. And the fact he's been to the course is a great benefit. Aidan Coleman's on him, and Aidan Coleman is a brilliant judge of a race. So if he can front run, he can be held up. Aidan will have him in the right place. And with Willie Mullins, you never know where you stand with all of his runners. And I just think, you know, the chances are you're going to pick the wrong one. If you're going to back one of Willie Mullins's, you might as well back Blackbow, Carefully Selected, and Tornado Flyer because they seem to be his big three. But I just think AC Milan keeping it in home, and the home team have done pretty well in this race. Not last year, I think it was Super Sunday won it last year. I'm not sure who won the bumper last year. But British have been doing better in this race. It's a tough bumper, but 1, 2, 3, AC Milan from Blackbow and Carefully Selected. Thanks for watching again. Let us know, as always, what you're doing, and day 3 will be up hopefully tomorrow. Cheers, guys.